Good morning, everyone. It's just coming past 20 past 10 in the morning here on Friday in Les Sables-d'Olonne. That's local time, and we thought we time to do an update. Time on these positions is 8 o'clock, so it's 9 o'clock local time. So they're about an hour and a half old. Anyway, it was good to talk to Tapio yesterday, find out about his barnacle situation. Really long now, between 20 and 30 centimetre clumps off the bottom of the keel and other bits all around the hull, which is all very much causing him to slow down. He's got a bit of a good breeze there right now, and he's just on the edge of it, but he's only making 3.7 knots. And it's going to be a slow journey back up to Les Sables-d'Olonne. Anyway, the good news is he's certainly passed that fishing fleet that we talked about previously, and the weather doesn't look too bad as he moves forward. The sea's obviously pretty gentle as well, and if we come forward come forward a day, he's got a good breeze, beam reaching, so that's okay, so he'll be making speed there. And we come forward then another day, the 17th, he's still up in that, so that's good. So there's 2 days. We come forward to 3 days, and he's still got a good breeze, so he'll be happy with that. 3 days time at say 4 knots is 100 miles. He'll be 300 miles in front. Let's go forward to the 19th. Still looking good. If we come back, so that's 4 days. There's a bit of a blow coming down the bottom, but he'll be up ahead of that. Let's just go forward 4 days, sees an average of 400 miles. What do we got? 400 miles. He'll be up around here. So he's going to miss this big blow, hopefully, depending on where that goes. So let's assume he's on this latitude line here and making a reasonable time at the moment of that weather. If we come forward another day to the 20th, around about now, yeah, it's disappeared, it's going out to the east, so that's fine. But you can see then he's well and truly, this is the classic horse latitudes, he'll be up here and starting to think, wow, what's going to happen next? The drag on the boat with the barnacles is actually a lot more pronounced when you're going slow. Obviously, if you'd normally be sailing at 6 knots and the barnacles slow you down to 3 knots, it's costing you half your speed. But when you go down to, say, if you're normally sailing at 3 knots, dragging those barnacles, you're probably only going to do 1 knot, so you've lost up to 60% of your speed. So the slower you go, the more percentage of boat speed you lose because of the barnacles. Also, going to windward is just not an issue. Drag just kills your speed, like totally, and you need all the speed and efficiency you can get going to windward, so it'll be a dramatic speed increase as well on that aspect. So anyway, so 5 days from now, Tapio is going to have more challenges to get through these areas here. So if we just move that forward, you'll see we'll see what's going on. Okay, the breeze is starting to come back, but it's a headwind, and he's not going to want to go to windward in light winds. By then, or there's a bit of a push, he might be getting a bit of a shove north there, and it follows through. So it might not be too bad. He might be held up for a couple of days, and we'll see how it goes. At the moment, he's about 6,170 odd miles from the finish. I just checked that before. Yes, if you look over there on the leaderboard, he's 6,000 miles. If he makes an average of 3.4 knots all the way back, he'd arrive in Les Sables-d'Olonne on the 1st of May. Sadly, that's not going to happen. He's not going to be able to average that kind of speed, so who knows when he's going to get there. Anyway, at least he's safe, having fun, and enjoying the ride. Just a reminder, he did read me 2 pages of his log yesterday, which is really quite amazing. Tapio's very much a descriptive kind of guy, philosopher, into history and so on, and his description of his rounding on that reading yesterday was fantastic, and it'll be on SoundCloud today. We'll put it up in an hour or so when we get organised here. So Tapio's looking good. Let's go look at the other guys up the top here. Uku, we'll come back to real-time weather. Both well and truly established in the trade winds, and the trades are pretty strong. We're getting the yellows here, so wet, bumpy ride, pounding to, well, yeah, probably jumping a bit. They'll try not to pound, but it's still forward of the beam. So Uku's doing 6.1 knots right now, which is pretty good. It'll be a wet ride. And Istvan is also doing 6.1, so they're holding their own, and I would expect that to continue. No one's going to make any big inroads in this gap at the moment, so distance between the two at the moment, if we put that right on the bow there, and we put this one right, click and drag there, 627 miles apart. So Uku's pulled out a little distance, but not too far, and that'll hold through. So then the big issue is, what have we got coming up next? So we'll forget about Istvan for now. You can assume he's going to be tailing Uku at the same rate, and we'll start moving it forward and see what's going to happen to... forget about Istvan. Istvan's catching up to Uku. I mean, holding his own. So here's the next big issue. The Azores High. The Azores is right up here. It's moving around. If we look at the big picture here, the Azores High is actually driven by these low pressure systems up the top here. This low will actually influence where the high is going to be positioned. So that's what we've got at the moment. I don't know whether we can see. I'm trying to think of the best way. If you're on a mobile phone, it's not so good, so we'll pick it up to make it a bit bigger. Okay, so we'll come forward a day to the 16th, and so it's going to take him 600 miles up to that next latitude line, and that's going to be at least sort of 4.5, 5 days. So we'll jump forward or watch it as we go. You'll see the center here just moving around, not too big. That's the 17th, and then we go through to the 18th. So that's 3 days ahead. It's starting to come down now. 3 days, Uku will be just about here. Okay, that's where he's going to be, and he'll be trying to get to the other side here. So there's 4 days, boom. He's going to stop there. Somewhere he's going to stop because this has come to meet him. But if he's lucky, when he stops, it might, well, let's see what happens. It might, the calm will go over the top of him, and the winds north of him will come down to meet him. Yeah, and that's exactly what might happen. If Uku can get into here and then start riding that, just running downwind and getting up over here, look at the power of this low here. This is incredibly intense. To give you an idea how strong this is, we go through the normal reds and purples here. So there's 60 knots. This is going into 70 knots. When you go into this purple here, this is really strong winds. I wouldn't want to be there. That's going to be 80 knots in there because it's going through the gradients. It doesn't drop down. This is incredibly intense. That's really something. What's the sea state doing there? It'll all be white. Let's just see, just for fun. Yeah. Okay, so it's gone through white. This is 9 to 10. When you go down here, it's anything over that. So 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 metre seas there. So there's a big storm coming through the Azores. Anyway, I'm getting a bit distracted there by the power of that one. It's quite impressive. In fact, if we just see here, you can see what the pressure is. Yeah, that's super low. Anyway, you can play around with this on your own tracker, of course. So just going back to Uku here. So there's a possibility he'll get through this and he'll hook onto these winds, and then he'll start hooking up around. So if he does, let's just see, that's another day, and you can see there. Yeah, this is getting really interesting because there's every expectation that Uku, this calm is going to go over the top of Uku. He'll be stopped for a day or so in about 4 days' time, maybe 3.5 days' time, and then he'll be here and he'll be riding this up, getting a super lift, some big seas. He'll be coming up through there. That's on the 20th. That's only 5 days away. So he'll get that. And it's looking good. I mean, that's great, although depends what comes before, because normally you wouldn't be so far inshore here, but he's going to have to ride it. He can't push up into this. So there's the 22nd. Yep, there's 23rd. He's got a bit of a blow coming here. So yep, he's going to be into some very strong tailwinds very quickly. The sad news is, look at this. Now, Istvan's going to be hooked up in this. Let's just replay that from Istvan's perspective now. It's going to take him 5 days to get up here, so we can just jump it forward to the 20th and see what we got. Okay, so there's the 20th, bang. So Istvan's going to be here on this one with this no wind zone here. Uku's going to be up here riding it into the northeast. So I think Uku's going to get away from him. I think this might mean it's all over for Istvan. But in terms of trying to have a go at third place, a podium position, anything can happen, of course. But that's about it. So at this stage, 5 days from now, Istvan's going to be about there somewhere. And let me just refocus that. So whoops, it's easy. So it's not pumping too much. And then let's see what happens here. 21. Yeah, okay, so he'll be about here. It's headwinds. He's going to have headwinds there. So if this forecast holds true, he's got headwinds, so he's going to slow down. Oh, we've locked up. There we go. And then calms. So yeah, it's not looking good for Istvan to try and keep up with Uku. I think Uku's away if he can hold it all together. Going to be quite interesting. So for now, just coming back to today's picture, there we are. It's just a blast in the trade winds for at least 4 days, and then Uku will start to engage with the next weather systems, and it looks very much like he's going to get a break and head out, clear out on Istvan. So watch this space. We'll do another tracker on Sunday, which is getting closer to that. So we'll do a live tracker on Sunday, and we're about to do a French written post on to Facebook shortly. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you again soon.